All right. Well, thank you all for being here. Thank you. It's a beautiful day in Western Pennsylvania. It's a sad day to be here with all of you, and I appreciate you all coming out so much. I'm going to turn my back to you to speak to the cameras, but I just want you to know I'm here because of you. Thank you all for being here today. This is the second stop on our Price of Poor Leadership tour. And what we're doing is we're talking about the failed policies of Biden, Harris, and Senator Casey, who's a 99% vote for that terrible agenda, and what it means for Pennsylvania families, what it means for Pennsylvania, for seniors, for farmers. The list goes on. And essentially, what I'm here to tell you is that because of weak leadership in Washington, our manufacturing communities, just like this one in Charleroi, are suffering. They're hurting. Standing behind me are dozens, maybe hundreds of employees at the local Anchor Hocking glass manufacturing plant. Right here's a product. Right here's a product from all the great work that all of you do. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you. And in a shocking announcement, we learned very recently that this plant's set to close, resulting in hundreds and hundreds of job losses. These just aren't numbers. These just aren't numbers on a balance sheet. These aren't even just jobs. This is all about communities and families and lives. This is about the community that people here call home. And so I'm here today to stand in solidarity with these workers in the fight to keep these jobs here, to build a vibrant economy for our Commonwealth, and to ensure that these Pennsylvania communities are not left behind. Everybody here, you have a right to be angry. You have a right to be frustrated, and you have a right to fight for your future in this community, and I'm here standing in solidarity with all of you. And if we aren't careful, if we don't get the right leadership in place, we're not going to have the great opportunity, the American dream, not just for the people here, but for our kids and their kids. That's what this is about. That's what today's conversation's about. That's what good leadership's about. And we've got three great speakers here to help talk about this issue. The first is Charleroi Mayor Greg Dorfler. The mayor will speak to the efforts going on at the local level to keep manufacturing here. There's been a complete absence of leadership in the state by our senators, and he's going to talk about what constituents here are fighting for. Second person is going to be Charleroi Borough Councilman Larry Silasky. As a councilman, Larry will speak to the devastating impact this plant closure would have on the local economy and how the future of this community is in jeopardy as jobs leave our Commonwealth. Larry's grandfather worked at this plant for many, many years. And then finally, we'll hear from Danielle Byrne. Danielle is the Vice President of the United Steelworkers Local 53G and works at Anchor Hocking. Perel Brands, all right. Perel Brands, okay. And like so many of the employees behind me, her family has worked for generations, and her grandfather proudly worked at this plant for 50 years. Danielle's been a leader in this community, can speak to what's going on at the plant. So I want to thank you all for being here, and I want to turn to our first speaker, the mayor. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Greg Dorfler, the mayor of Charleroi. I would like to welcome everybody to the borough of Charleroi, Pennsylvania. I appreciate all the media covering this event and the story that we are all here today. The story is the closing of a 118-year-old Corel plant that sits behind us. And behind me is all their wonderful workers. I would like to give you a quick timeline as how to all I got involved trying to save this plant and jobs that are housed inside. The Friday before Labor Day, Danielle called me. I was in Georgia, all upset about we're losing our plant. Can you please help me? So, well, I'm in Georgia right now, so I probably can't do much, but I will get in touch with Larry Silasky and we'll get the ball rolling on this. When I get home, we'll continue. And here we are. The bottom line in this, I don't want to see this plant leave Charleroi, and I don't want to see these employees lose their jobs. I will keep fighting for them until a victory is at hand. I just want to say that. All these years, we'll take it out here. I like to meet this guy face to face.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Larry Salaskin. I'm a councilman here in the borough of Charleroi, Pennsylvania. When I received a call from the mayor with the bad news that this plant was going to be closed, I was shell-shocked. Never thought I'd see the day when this plant would be closing, but here we all are. As the mayor asked, I did contact Daniel Byrne, who's an employee and vice president of the United Steelworkers Union 53G, to offer my help. The loss of 425 jobs, all within a matter of 5 days, beginning August the 30th, from our two largest employers that are located 2 football fields away from each other, is a crushing blow to the borough of Charleroi, surrounding communities of the 15022 zip code, and the entire Mon Valley. The trickle-down effect from these job losses will affect the borough, the school district, the borough-owned water and sewage authority, losing 2 of their largest customers. It will have an effect on small business here in town. What's the answer to keep that afloat? Another tax hike? When we started this crusade to save this plant and jobs, I thought of a piece of advice that my father once gave to me. He said, Larry, I want you to always remember this. To get things done in this world, it's not what you know, it's who you know. Using that piece of advice, I then began to contact everyone from A to Z for help. The mayor and I have spoken to hundreds of individuals and have done over 120 radio, television, and podcast interviews since September 4th to put a spotlight on this devastation. This news story even made its way to German TV, Switzerland TV, and the Wall Street Journal, who interviewed us. I even reached out to Paul Magnitte, the mayor of Charleroi, Belgium, our sister city, where the history of this glass factory all began. I've experienced many pushbacks trying to find the right key to open the door that will save this plant. When calling around to the powers to be in the political and business world asking for help, I kept getting a lot of the same answers. What am I supposed to do? I won't be able to do anything, or I can't get involved for whatever reason. I then picked up the phone to call my friend Sean Logue to vent. He heard my frustrations and said, Larry, I have an idea. Let's get Dave McCormick involved to come here and show support for these workers, this plant, and the people of Charleroi. I'm thrilled to say that United States Senate candidate Mr. McCormick is here today in person. After many attempts by several people trying to contact Bob Casey. Where is Bob Casey? His office finally crawled out of a hole and sent 2 staff aides to meet us 3 days ago because they were scrambling when they caught wind that Dave McCormick was coming to Charleroi. In this meeting, they were clueless as to the magnitude of what was happening in Charleroi. They didn't even know the quality pasta plant closed and Charleroi lost 100 jobs the Friday before Labor Day. People, we have very little time left on the clock. Days. And Casey's aides were just starting to take notes when these employees are about to lose their jobs. Late yesterday, Bob Casey sent out an email of a letter that he sent to Anchor Hawking CEO, Corel Brands CEO. In this letter dated September 19th, Casey said, please provide answers to the following questions that he posed before October the 1st. Well, Mr. Casey, you knew nothing about what was going on here in Charleroi with the closing of these two plants. Because if you did know, you would know that we don't have until October the 1st. And your staff members were told that, so don't even try to spin this story. Ladies and gentlemen, what I'm holding up here is a piece of history from Corning Glass. This is personal. This is an original glass blowing pipe that my grandfather, Pete Salaski, used when he was an employee here for 50 years in the same plant that these workers are earning their living in. My grandfather blew glass with his bare hands and made a glass product that was known worldwide. Yes, the name of the plant has changed over time from Corning Glass to what it is called today. But one thing remains the same. These employees here today make the greatest glass product in the world right here in Charleroi, Pennsylvania. The long history of this plant and trying to steal it from Charleroi is compared to taking the Pittsburgh Steelers out of Pittsburgh. So, Mark Icahn, CEO of Corel Brand, you picked a fight with the wrong people. We're not going away quietly. So why don't you get your ass down here to Charleroi, Pennsylvania, and negotiate with all these hardworking men and women, these employees that are employed right here in Charleroi, Pennsylvania. I'd like to thank Galiffa Productions for donating the audio equipment for this event. And also thank you to the Charleroi Regional Police Department for providing police protection. And also to Davies Ford, who had the guts enough to let us have this here. We appreciate you all. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you Danielle Byrne, Corel Brand employee and vice president of United Steelworkers Local Union 53G. You want to put it up here?
Okay, everybody knows it's Friday, so it's Steeler Friday, so I have my shirt, but you know me. My name is Danielle Byrne, and the first thing I want to say is we are not Anchor Brand. We are Corel Brands. Anchor does not own us. Center Lane Partners owns Anchor Hawking and Corel Brands, and that's how it all starts. I just started my 35th year here at the plant where we produce premium and quality wear for over 100 years, and this may soon be coming to an end. Mark Eichhorn, who is the CEO of Anchor, was put in charge of household bakeware divisions and plans on closing the doors at the end of the year. If this takes place, it'll devastate the town. Not only that, but 300 hardworking people will lose good-paying jobs and be without a job. Over half the employees here range from 10 to 48 years of service. It's not like Lancaster, Ohio, where they want to take our equipment and try to produce Pyrex ware. It'll never be Pyrex ware if it goes there. Consumers will think they'll be buying premium Pyrex ware. It won't be the same. It won't be the same quality. The factory means so much to this town. Growing up just 3 streets up the block from the factory at 12 o'clock every day, when the Corning blew their lunch whistle, my grandfather would reset his watch or the clocks in the house because there was no other time but Corning time, and it was always right. He worked here for 50 years, along with many other of my relatives of mine. I met my husband here, Rob, who's been at the plant for 36 years. And I've made many dear friends that I call family in this plant. Along with 6 other couples that are married in this factory, you have numerous moms, dads, brothers, sisters, twin sisters that work in this plant too. I reached out to many people in the past weeks and very few got back to us for help. Dave McCormick was the first to offer to come to Charleroi and see what he could do to help. I've also reached out to the FTC. How is it possible for Center Lane Partners to be denied by the FTC to purchase us out of bankruptcy, then all of a sudden allowed to purchase us? Could this be a monopoly of housewares and price fixing and manipulating the market? Making 2 brands of ware in the same factory using the same tank is supposed to be 2 different qualities of ware. Can someone please help us? Something's very fishy about this whole deal. It's not fair, and we are making money in this factory. But because of pure jealousy and greed, Mark Eichhorn wants to shut us down because Pyrex controls 70% of the market. Anchor only controls 20%. He would rather destroy our more efficient factory in the world, the most efficient factory in the world, the Pyrex name, and cripple over 300 families and help destroy the pride of the Mon Valley. How often do you see Anchor hawking ware on the Food Network? Never. I want to let Center Lane Partners know that Mike Eichhorn called me personally and said, "You guys don't know how to run a business, that's his job." Center Lane, I hope you open your eyes soon and see before he takes Pyrex and Anchor into bankruptcy again. I want to thank everybody who is out helping us with our fight. For all of you that showed up today, especially the past retired workers, our present workers, our mayor, Larry, DJ Galiffa, Jim Davies for using his lot, and Mr. McCormick. Thank you, everybody, and let's keep fighting. I'm not giving up till the fat lady sings, and I'm the fat lady, so.
All right, well, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Danielle. And thank you all for being here. The goal of this is to basically elevate this issue and get it front and center and hopefully bring the attention to what we're trying to do here on behalf of all of you. You know, I was born in Washington County Hospital, so not too far from here. I didn't grow up here. I grew up in a town called Bloomsburg. Bloomsburg had a big carpet mill, about 2,000 employees. And a lot of my friends in high school, their parents worked there. And over the 20, 30 years, it's about 200 employees now. Went from 2,000 to 200. And I know what happens when the anchor for a community shrinks or goes away. And so I understand how important these jobs are to your families, how important these are to the community. And listen, this is about leadership. And unfortunately, a lot of the challenges we're having right here in Charleroi and right here across our Commonwealth are due to poor leadership. You know, we haven't had a fair deal with China. And China has been able to dump its products or subsidize its products, and it's not been fair to Pennsylvania manufacturers. You know, we've had too much onerous regulation, and Bob Casey's not done anything about it, which is one of the things Danielle was talking about. We need to streamline our regulations, make it easier for our business. We've had sky-high inflation. Sky-high inflation is putting pressure on every business. It's affecting every business decision. We haven't had enough support for skilled workers across our Commonwealth to help young people adopt careers like many of you have had, because there's great opportunities in the trades, great opportunities in the kinds of jobs you've had, but we got to help. Not everybody needs to go to college. We've got to have great pathways and support for that skilled worker training. And finally, we got to unlock our energy sector, because the energy sector affects jobs just like this, right? We got to have great, clean, cheap energy. We got it right here in Pennsylvania. We just can't get it out of the ground. We got it right here in southwestern Pennsylvania. We just can't get it out of the ground. So we need a senator. We need leaders who are going to promote that agenda, make it easier for businesses to thrive, make sure we create great, high-paying jobs for all of you, but not just for you, but for your kids. Make sure our communities remain strong. It is all about leadership. Bob Casey has failed you every step of the way, 18 years in office. He hasn't done a doggone thing. He talks a lot about manufacturing jobs, but he hasn't done a thing that actually makes your jobs easier, makes it easier to keep great opportunities here in Charleroi. So listen, we're going to fight this fight, but I want you to know that if I'm honored enough to be your senator, I'm going to be working every day for policies that make communities like Charleroi, communities like exist all across Western Pennsylvania, vibrant, create opportunities for our kids. It is what leadership's all about. It's what Pennsylvania's all about. I feel honored to be with you all today. God bless you, and I'm with you on the fight. Thank you.